to apply for scholarship because God is going to do something in this family. You know, the money you are supposed to use to go to school, I have used it, I have sold it into God's business. My wife applied for different kind of scholarship. Chevening scholarship, federal government scholarship. There was no scholarship she didn't apply for. She has a file, big file. No scholarship came. I was discouraged. And the money had been spent. The following year came. Because that year she couldn't go to school. So I had to borrow money from the bank, where I just started working, for her to go and start her program in London. While she was doing that program, ran out of money. Ran out of money. Because the plan was, ran out of money. Because the plan was to be getting money little by little, you convert it, you will send to her. But that was not possible. So I said to her, I cannot leave a married woman in London with that money. So you have to come back home. So I went to London as she was preparing to come back home. I said, look, you are already a doctor. You are a specialist. You know, what you are doing is extra. You know, my wife is a specialist in pediatrics. I said, so do your coursework. Maybe you can discuss with them from Nigeria. You can do your paper, your project. And then I went to London. I was in an apartment one night. And then we went to bed. The following morning, there were some letters that came in under the door. One of them was addressed to my wife from a bank. Normally, when it comes to money, things like that, we don't keep things from ourselves. So I opened the letter. They were offering her a loan. A loan she did not apply for. I'm the banker. So I'm saying to myself, how can a bank in London offer you a loan you did not apply for? It must be 419. So I waited for her to wake up. I said, let us go to the bank. This is what came in. They are offering you a loan. They even put a check there. You know, you can sign this check and then. So we went to the bank. Major bank in London with my wife. I said, it's you. You can sit down there. It's not me they wrote to. In case they abuse us. And these people don't know anything. Say, madam, yes, why have you come? I got this letter offering loan. I'm interested. Say, yes, it came from us. Are you interested? And everything. Anyway, my wife signed the document. That day, they gave my wife a loan for £10,000. Payable over 7 years. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because even Nigerians who are in London don't have £500 credit card. And then a bank is offering you a loan for about £10,000 that you can pay over 7 years. And they even put insurance there. In case you default, they have insurance subsidiary that will cover it. That was how my wife was able to finish a master's program. The loan we were not looking for, God brought it. But that was not all. As he was in London, one oil company in Nigeria here decided to advertise that they are looking for doctors, specialist doctors. And they were looking for specialist doctors in 2 areas. One in pediatrics, which is my wife's area of specialty, and other specialty also. So she applied. Of course, oil companies pay very well. There were 2 positions. 200 doctors, and not ordinary doctors. These are specialist doctors they were looking for. 200 doctors applied for 2 positions. So because there were too many, they had to do tests before they even interview them. Say, let us test them so we can cut down the number. So when they did the test for the 200 of them, only 4 of them passed. I'm not talking of ordinary doctors. I'm talking of specialist doctors. The type of test that 200 will sit for. And only 4 will pass. You can imagine what it was. So all the doctors that had connections, who knew minister, who knew that person, they didn't pass the test. So God used that to eliminate them. Then they will interview 4 to take 2. So they interviewed 4. And when they finished, they said, look, we are not happy with all the, we will only take 1 person. That only person was my wife. She worked in that company for 21 years. She retired just about 2-3 years ago. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you about working with God. I'm telling you about how God rewards. That some things don't make sense. They don't make sense.